Hope they have a wonderful holiday.
Yeah.
Now, it's the first time they've ever been used in the East Midlands. Tonight, rail passengers are being asked to walk through metal detectors before boarding their trains.
British Transport Police in Nottingham want to cut down on the number of knife attacks. The move comes as part of a national campaign and is being carried out just weeks after a former Oakham school student was stabbed to death on a train.
Our reporter Helen Finch is at Nottingham Railway Station. Helen, the scheme only started a couple of hours ago. How's it been going?
Well, Sam, the Transport Police here are pretty pleased with how it's been going. They've so far scanned 150 passengers through this archway here, and they've made one arrest. I'll tell you a little bit more about that arrest in a moment. But this is part of a national scheme called Operation Shield, and passengers are being invited to walk through this archway, which is a metal detector. Oh, as you just heard there, I've just set it off. That's because this microphone is metal. But police here are very keen to have a high-profile presence because this growing knife culture is in our news all too often. Just last month, a 19-year-old former Oakham school pupil was stabbed while on a train. And the next night, in Nottingham, another young man was knifed while trying to prevent an assault in the Goosegate area of the city. The 26-year-old remains in a critical condition in the Queen's Medical Centre. Police forces up and down the country are trying to do something to tackle this growing knife culture. They launched a knife amnesty last month, which runs to the end of June. And in the first week of that amnesty, Nottinghamshire Constabulary took 400 knives off the county's streets. Derbyshire's haul so far is 544. 150 knives have been handed in to Leicestershire Police, 306 in Northamptonshire and just over 200 in Lincolnshire. Police say they're pleased at the response so far and say the public support for this amnesty is very strong indeed. Well, this operation here, Operation Shield, is actually designed to complement that knife amnesty. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Operation Shield, if you can hear me above that tannoy, is actually a national campaign. It's been running since February. So far, across the country, they've scanned around 18,000 train passengers. They've discovered around 170 weapons, and they've made 200 arrests. But what do passengers make of it all?
Youth early in the morning, drink related, he got a broken bottle and when challenged he dropped the bottle but he got a knife in his waistband. That's when I contacted Transport Police. They were down in 2 minutes.
I mean, if I was running for a train, in a minute or so, then I might not be quite as happy to run through it, but I think it's a good idea. I think it might stop people bringing knives into our lovely city.
I think it's actually a good idea actually because it gives some more safety to the public passengers and basically passengers could be more safe when they're travelling really.
Well, joining me now is Inspector Jamie Fawkes from the British Transport Police. He's the man behind this campaign here in Nottingham. Inspector, I mean, how frightened should passengers be? Is this an indication that it really is a serious problem, this knife carrying culture?
What you have to remember is a large number of people use the rail infrastructure and use a lot of rail journeys throughout the year, in fact millions of rail journeys. And the actual instances of knife crime or that type of crime is quite low really, to be perfectly honest. But what we're going to do today and what we are doing nationally is really cracking down on anyone who's got possession of these knives. We're not going to tolerate it and we're really cracking down on it.
Well, you've started cracking down here in Nottingham already. You've told me you've had one arrest. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, a little while ago. We've had a total of actually about 170 people come through here at the moment, and we have found one person in possession of a knife, and I can show you it here. Basically, this is a lock knife here. It's got a nasty blade on it, and we're dealing with the person as we speak.
Great. Well, Inspector, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And in just a few hours' time, they'll be packing up this mobile metal detector, and in the coming months, they'll be taking it to other train stations around the East Midlands.
Helen, thank you very much indeed. Now, it's been revealed the independent specialist